Okay, please welcome Rebecca Roeder.
Wow, this is great.
So, my name is Rebecca Roeder, and I just want to point out that as we sit here, there is a sound in the distance that you might hear. That is the sound from a well pad. It's a Cabot well pad about 3,000 feet from my house up the ridge there, and they're drilling whatever, who knows. You can hear backup monitors of trucks backing up, 24/7. So here, you're in a shale field right now. And this is Brooklyn, Pennsylvania, and we are currently a mile from the active 54-acre construction site of the Williams Midstream Central Station, which is the beginning of a massive 30-inch transmission project of Williams and Cabot, the Constitution Pipeline. It starts here on my hill and is supposed to run up the I-88 corridor through your communities and end in Albany. Pennsylvania DEP Secretary Krancer is denying this site is anything but the 2-engine compressor permitted with the state GP5. DEP considers this to be a minor source of air pollution. My state is not being honest with me or my community about this whole project's air pollution impacts, which will affect our breathing air and our health both in the short and long term. How many compressors and how many tons per year of hazardous air pollutants will the whole Constitution Pipeline, the entire 128 miles, dump into our breathing air? How many compressors will be needed? Williams told the Susquehanna County Commissioner there would be no compressors on the Constitution except for the one at the end of the line in Schoharie County, New York. Doesn't the gas need to be compressed and pressurized to move it along on the gathering lines at the beginning of the transmission line and along the 128 miles to get it to Schoharie? Is Williams telling people they are asking to sign for right-of-ways that they now live in Class 1 areas, and if they sign the right-of-way lease, they will also be living in an area of high consequence? Where is their good neighbor policy? Dr. Engelder, a Marcellus Shale advisor to Governor Corbett, refers to people like us living in rural shale plays as necessary sacrifices. My federal government also views our lives as disposable, as we live in sparsely populated areas, Class 1 areas. The Class 1 area per FERC is defined as 1 mile of pipeline with less than 10 inhabited homes, 220 feet on either side. 2,200 would be way better. We live in a Class 1 FERC area here where there are no routine safety inspections of gathering lines and no emergency plan in case of explosion. A FERC safety specialist said in a case of explosion in Class 1 areas, quote, hopefully only trees and forest burns, end quote. The value of our lives is marginalized because we live in rural, sparsely populated areas. FERC and industry actually have a mathematical formula to figure out areas of high consequence, a zone around the transmission line that will experience high impact from accidents, what I call the kill zone, the toast zone. This formula involves the diameter of the pipeline, pressure and type of gas, and for a 30-inch natural gas transmission line like the Constitution Pipeline, the area of high consequence is a 2-mile radius. Right now we are all standing within the 2-mile radius from the proposed path of the Constitution line. We are all standing in an area of high consequence, the toast zone. Furthermore, it's my lay understanding in areas of high consequence that also happen to be Class 1, which this is, the operator, which would be Williams, is not required to report accidents per FERC regulation. Residents of Class 1 areas of high consequence are disposable, marginalized collateral damage, the cost of doing business. The March 2012 explosion at the Lathrop compressor operated by Williams illustrated that there is no oversight or accountability for the safety of human beings living in Class 1 areas. Secretary Krancer, the head of Pennsylvania DEP, has not responded to my numerous emails asking him if he thinks the Williams Midstream Central Station and the Constitution Pipeline are really minor sources of air pollution of little or no concern to the public. That is how Secretary Krancer describes appropriate use of a GP5 for minor source air emissions of little or no interest to the public. This 54-acre site, per the Troy construction supervisor, on camera, currently being built, is for 4 compressors and is part of the Constitution Pipeline. DEP only permitted 2 engines, with a GP5 to date. And GP5 permits are not transparent and provide no public participation. I want honesty and transparency from my state and federal government. I'm tired of being lied to by the industry and by my state about what the Constitution Pipeline means for my community. Whoops. I think I grabbed the wrong ending. I did. Oh, here we go. I didn't. Yeah. Basically, they're not being honest with us about what this massive gas pipeline project, the Constitution Pipeline, is going to do to the quality of our lives for those of us living in Class 1 areas of high consequence. You know, the Williams landmen going out to ask people to sign up for right-of-ways for the pipeline path line, they're not going to tell you that you already live in a Class 1 area and that by virtue of signing a right-of-way, you're going to be in an area of high consequence. They're not telling you that. So I want to know the impact this pipeline will have on our air quality and all of our cumulative health risks. I want transparency and honesty, and I want our lives to be protected equally as urban centers with higher population densities. Thank you.
Bravo.
Speaking on behalf